Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, was one of the most legendary pirates in history. On his ship, Queen Anne's Revenge, he traveled many seas and became a real threat not only to merchant ships but also to warships. According to rumors, the wealth Blackbeard looted could rival the treasury of the kings. And it was Edward Teach who became the prototype of the legendary Captain Flint from Sharp Treasure. The pirate career of Edward Teach, who did not yet bear the nickname Blackbeard, began back in 1715 when he was a member of Benjamin Hornigold's pirate crew. Under the command of his captain, Teach plundered French and Spanish ships in and around the Caribbean Sea, and also participated in the War of the Spanish Succession, otherwise known as Queen Anne's War, which served as the name for his future ship. Edward Teach's fearless ruthlessness quickly raises him in the eyes of Captain Hornigold, who appoints the young filibuster to command one of the sloops of his flotilla. However, soon there is a mutiny on Hornigold's ship, and the captain is removed. Edward Teach, having learned about this, did not help his former captain, but at the same time refused to obey the new one. Together with his sloop, he headed for the Caribbean islands and began to rob ships under his flag. Soon, Edward Teach's leadership qualities bear the first serious fruit. By 1717, 2 pirate sloops with a crew of 150 people were assembled under his command. Talentedly managing such a small force, Teach becomes a thunderstorm in the Caribbean. He successfully robs merchant ships and in a short time acquires impressive wealth. Soon, Teach's pirates capture a full-fledged frigate, which is significantly strengthened and rearmed, after which Edward Teach gives it the name Queen Anne's Revenge and makes it the flagship of his fleet. By the end of 1717, under the command of the legendary pirate, there were already 300 thugs and about 5 warships. At the same time, Great Britain decided to end Caribbean piracy and therefore presented a request to all local pirates demanding that they surrender to the authorities. The British sent a squadron to the region and began hunting for those pirates who chose to remain faithful to sea robbery. Among them was Edward Teach, who raised a black banner over his ships, demonstrating to everyone that from now on he was outlawed. Teach's pirates created real chaos, attacking every ship they came across. But we should give them credit without killing the crews of the ships. From this moment, the story of Edward Teach ends, and the story of Blackbeard begins. Soon after these events, the already famous pirate Blackbeard anchors off the city of Bath, the capital of North Carolina. By threat and bribery, he demanded his amnesty from the local governor, and having achieved what he wanted, he married there for the first time the minor daughter of a wealthy planter. After this, Blackbeard's pirates headed to South America, capturing more and more new ships along the way and constantly expanding their team. They have grown into one of the most formidable naval forces in the region, capable of engaging even warships. And Edward Teach himself was called the King of the Pirates. At the same time, the Blackbeard formed its symbol, which was the devil, holding an hourglass in his hands and piercing a scarlet heart with a spear. Symbolically, it meant the inevitability of death and was used by the Blackbeard pirates on the banner of their ships, warning everyone of the danger that threatened them. Upon returning to North America in 1718, Blackbeard decided to take the most daring action of his career. His 4 ships, led by the pirate flagship Queen Anne's Revenge, begin a virtual siege of the coastal city of Charlestown, one of the richest cities in British America. Over a few days of siege, pirates intercept a dozen ships, collecting loot from them and rich hostages, who were released for a fabulous ransom. However, Blackbeard's money allows him to avoid any consequences this time. He again bribes the governor of North Carolina and receives an honorable place on her lands, where he settles as a wealthy businessman. However, the presence of the famous pirate in the city did not please many influential residents. They turned for help to the governor of neighboring Virginia, who agreed to put a large monetary reward on the head of Blackbeard and his subordinates. This led to the fact that even in North Carolina there were people who wanted to get rich at the expense of pirates. Blackbeard had to go out to sea again and hide in the strait. However, Blackbeard's hopes were in vain. The pirates were tracked down by a young lieutenant of the Royal Navy, Robert Maynard, under whose command there were 2 sloops and 1,500 people. Since most of Blackbeard's pirates were on shore at that time, Maynard had almost 3 times the numerical superiority. Accordingly, Edward Teach would not engage in an unequal battle, but would prefer to escape on his much faster frigate. Therefore, Maynard decided to use tactical cunning and hid most of the sailors below deck to make his sloops look like tempting prey for self-confident pirates. The lieutenant's calculations turned out to be correct. After a short firefight, the pirates decided to board one of the sloops. When Blackbeard and his pirates appeared on board the enemy ship, a large number of armed sailors emerged from under its deck. Taking advantage of their numerical advantage, the sailors quickly defeated the pirates, but Edward Teach himself continued to offer stubborn resistance. He clashed in a duel with Lieutenant Maynard, who fired before the fight and shot the pirate. However, this did not prevent the Blackbeard from easily overpowering the young officer, and was already preparing to strike the final blow when one of the sailors intervened in the duel and struck Edward Teach from behind with a saber. However, the wounded pirate continued to remain on his feet and took about 25 more saber blows until he finally collapsed dead. After the death of Edward Teach, Lieutenant Maynard cut off his head and tied it to the bow of his ship as a symbol of victory over piracy. In Virginia, he received a rich reward, and the head of the Blackbeard hung in the port for a long time to intimidate pirates. Thanks to everyone who watched this video to the end. To find out about the latest releases, you just need to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell. Also, leave your thoughts in the comments and give it a thumbs up. See you soon.